Namaskar and welcome to this exciting new show of Sattology debunking mythology. There's one group from India, which is popularly known as Indian film industry or Bollywood, very famous nowadays for good or bad reasons. And I would say you can say famous or notorious. I don't know. I'll let you pick up the adjectives there. And they're very famous. What impact do they have on the psyche of young Indians or young youth across the world? Extremely popular, but they have a theme. Does that theme make them popular? So let's discuss with Professor Chandrakant Prasad. So namaskar, welcome CP Singh ji, Dr. CP Singh.
Namaste, 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 and my namaskar to all our listeners, viewers, friends in America.
It's always a pleasure to see you and hear from you, your views on these topics, and you chose a very interesting topic on Bollywood. So popularly, it's called Hindi film industry, and because the Indian film industry includes other languages also, but this industry includes only Hindi language or maybe a big mix of Farsi or Urdu. Now, what made it popular in the past? And so if you can a little bit elaborate on that, please.
You see, you might recall that the film industry in India started in Kolkata. That was earlier known as Calcutta.
Yes.
And it was the seat of the British Imperial Raj. When it moved to Delhi, in due process of time, the film industry, or maybe a little before that, has started moving to Mumbai, because Mumbai was a fast emerging financial capital and the business hub of the Indian subcontinent. Most important cities were also connected through seaways. And when India was partitioned based on religion, and because of the demand from those who wanted Islamic state to be carved out of India, the Bollywood acquired all the more importance. And the language that Bollywood has been using since the last more than 50 years or so is the language you can call, broadly you can call it Hindi. The grammar remains Hindi, but the dialects and all, the infusion of inappropriate, I say inappropriate, by that you should mean uncalled for, not required, undesirable words from Persian and Arabic and Turki language. That was primarily to colonize the users of Hindi, the native users of Hindi, the natural users of Hindi. And Hindi, as you know, draws its words from Sanskrit, as English and most European languages draw from Latin and Greek. So that colonization started pretty early. It was a cultural colonization within one cultural setting. And the Hindi-Urdu, the conflict had started, was promoted by the Britishers in the mid-19th century. And Bollywood, in terms of choice of the language, stood on the side of the Britishers. And even today, BBC carries that lamp up aloft. Most of the stories that BBC does about the entertainment industry in India or the Bollywood and other sectors, you will find a certain colonial perspective. They are yet to get out of that hangover that India is no longer, at least politically, ruled by the British, or that mindset that promoted those who were vying or paying for the Islamic State to be carved out of India. So even if we got our own Hindustan politically, the Bollywood has been promoting the the colonization, the cultural colonization of Hindi-speaking people in general and India in particular, because Bollywood and its influence is not limited to the Hindi-speaking people. It has its effects. It has its echo in the audiences that speak other different languages as well. And that you can see in the choice of the stories, the symbols that they use. For example, 786, which is an Islamic symbol. You will find 786 being used in many, many Bollywood films by an actor who claims to be an atheist. The character, not the actor, the character. For example, in film Diwar and other movies, you see Amitabh Bachchan, fighting with the god. You see Amitabh Bachchan said that God has done nothing to him. But at the same time, when you see him being fired by an enemy, there is in his pocket a brass made badge on which it is written 786. So very subtly they have been promoting the Islamic symbols at the cost of Hindu symbols. I have no objection. Nobody should have any objection of promoting one cultural or religious or dharmic symbol. Fine. People have different religions and different dharmas. It's okay. But they actually choose one to promote at the cost of the other. And Bollywood had been doing this. This you can see in the movie called PK, where the Hindu gods and goddesses are denigrated freely. And there was a program, if you recall, organized and conducted and managed by Amir Khan, Satyameva Jayate. So all the rigidities, the social rigidities, most of which have been banned by the Constitution of India. For example, untouchability and other things, or the Parda system, they were discussed threadbare, which is very good. But the teen talak, halala, or burqa were not even touched upon. As if parda for Muslim women becomes their choice, and parda for Hindu women is a symbol of their subservience. So this kind of hypocrisy, this kind of double standards, if you wish, is very, very prevalent in the choice of the script, in the choice of characters, in the Bollywood. And during the recent decades, it has become much more clear for the simple reason that today we are a very highly mediated society. More than 500 million people are on the social media networks, 500 million Indians.
So, Dr. CP Singh, I'd like to interrupt you a little bit. Sorry for that.
Right. Please.
Now, my question to you is today, now with the Sushant Singh murder case and other cases going on, the drug mafia is seemed to control a lot of it. And earlier, it was not exposed. And today, you took the name of Amitabh Bachchan. His wife is defending such people in Rajya Sabha. Do you think it has gone too far?
You see, those who are living outside India, for them it may appear that it has gone too far. But those who are within this country, they know it pretty well that the big wigs of Bollywood are in league with the dons, the drug dons, the drug mafias, and different types of criminals. The financial criminals, for example, economic crimes are conducted. Money laundering is done through them. So there is a cartel of drug, finance, Bollywood, and of course when you have got a mix of these three, the politics chips in, because without the protection from politicians, this nexus cannot survive for long. That is why you see the government, the political parties, the alliance in power in Mumbai is brazenly, shamelessly protecting the nexus in the 50, 60 days that they had the control over the case of the death, so to say, the mysterious deaths of
So
Nisa Salian
there is a common
and
joke.
Tufan Singh Rajput. They destroyed the evidence. Most of the hard evidences have been destroyed by none other than the Bombay police. That is why this federal agency, CBI, had to chip in on the orders of the Supreme Court.
So if I look at there is a common joke. So what 150 years of Mughal rule could not do in India, destroy the culture of India, which is Hinduism. And in 90 years of British rule, 90 years, 1857 to 1947 is 90 years. And Bollywood was able to do it in 20 years. So,
You can
and
extend it to
all
maybe
the
40, 50 years.
most most of the enemies of India, and especially I'm only talking from the cultural point of view, culture of India, they used Bollywood for drugs, bringing drugs into India in the name of creativity. In fact, what I'm hearing from this case is that if you're not taking drugs, you're not invited or given movies in India. Like that is a prerequisite, and I think the Western audience would be shocked if it was happening in Hollywood, which is very close to my house here. And if it was happening in Hollywood, I give three cheers to LA police and that because they are able to stop the menace. There is no drug parties. It is illegal in the United States. And but in
You
Bollywood, it's a norm. And the Mumbai police, and they should be calling themselves Dharavi police now, not Scotland Yard. The Dharavi police is actually working with the drug syndicates. And if the police is that corrupt and the Bollywood has no control, what is the message being sent to the Indian youth or aspiring new actors?
you see, your question is very, very multi-layered. Uh, Bollywood stars are the icons, youth icons. At least they have been till date, youth icons. Now, with for more than 2 months, very heavy reporting, intense reporting on the doings or undoings or misdoings of the Bollywood actors and actresses, there might be some change in the respect and the fan following that the Bollywood actors uh, commanded. That's true. And what's more important is the first part of your comment that uh, what damage, the cultural damage, the damage in terms of identity and self respect was not done by hundreds of years of Mughal and the British rule, has been outdone in the negative sense of the term by the Bollywood, following which the educated Indians, the youth, are losing their self-esteem. They, they hate everything Indian. They hate everything Hindu. Though it is a different fact that had there been no Hindu majority in this country, you would have been reduced to a banana republic. You would have been reduced to Islamic state. And it is apparent from the kind of governance that two of our neighbors on two sides have, Pakistan and Bangladesh. They were carved out of India. They are Muslim dominated countries. They are Islamic states. And there you don't have basic minimum human rights to most Muslims. Forget about the Christian, Hindu, Buddha, Sikh, and other minorities. In this context, you see, promoting the inclusive Hindu culture, Dharmic culture is so important, not only for India, but for the whole world, where you say Eko sad vipra bahudha vadanti. Truth is one that is interpreted differently by the different people. So Bollywood has been used as a tool to attack the tolerance, not tolerance, acceptance that is prevalent in the Hindu civilization and the culture. Bollywood has been used to promote intolerance towards tolerance. Bollywood has been used to promote intolerance towards inclusivity. You talk a thing, you critique something very relevant about, say, for example, leftists or communists. They call themselves liberals out here, and the jihadis, and you are attacked from all sides. But you go on inappropriately attacking the Hindu symbols like Ram and Krishna and Durga, and you are being branded, promoted as an intellectual. So become an intellectual, you have to attack Hindus. Become an intellectual, you have to hate the country. And if you are an actor, a famous actor, to be a brand ambassador of very famous brands in India, you are advised by the brand managers that please keep away from this patriotism. Please keep away from nationalism. Please keep away from the Hindu symbols and all. Promote yourself as anti-Hindu and anti-Indian. Then you will have many brands to boot. That is the situation, which is not only promoted by Bollywood, but it has also been consistently ideologically nursed by the higher academic institutions such as JNU, where you had in 2016 the slogans such as Bharat tere tukde honge, inshallah, inshallah, Afjal hum sharminda hai, tere qatil jinda hai. Afjal was given death sentence by the Supreme Court of India. He was a terrorist. And in this slogan, the professors, the highly educated people, are calling Supreme Court the killer. They call it judicial killing. So that is how they have been nurturing anti-Hindu, anti-India thought process in this country for a fairly long time. And Bollywood becomes a musket for it. Bollywood becomes the brand ambassador of this kind of thinking. And thanks to, though it is a bad thing, death of someone, that too mysterious death of someone, is not a good thing. One cannot, celebrate it. But the after effect of the mysterious death of Sushant Singh and his PR manager Disha Salyan, I'm sure, are creating a situation where the nexus between the politicians, the drug mafia, the money launderers, and so-called the creative freedom wallahs who propagate anti-Hindu and anti-India sentiments are exposed.
Now, great points, Dr. C.P. Singh. And we have a next show coming up. But you made a great point. Creative freedom doesn't mean intellectual destruction. And I think we'll end over there, because what has happened today or in last 3 months in India is a big churning. And I really hope that Indian government, which has taken the right steps in correcting it by involving federal agencies, something like FBI in India is called CBI, and I think I wish them good success and trying to bring honesty back in this unofficial industry in India. So thank you very much, Dr. C.P. Singh, and coming at a short notice
Thank you very
and
much.
educating us. And I think you put your points very well. And the viewers, if you like this video, do go to the YouTube channel and ask questions to Dr. C.P. Singh. I will make sure that it reaches him and he answers those questions. Thank you very much. Namaskar.